Welcome to this afternoon panel at Spark Art for Vienna. Today on a nice Sunday afternoon. As you all know, the theme of this year's Spark is performing the city. And we've already had some talks yesterday on the theme of performance, also the video program. Some of you might have had a look or glimpse into that program. And today we are presenting a panel, or like having a panel with different panelists, headed by Ursula Probst, who's hopefully coming in a second. She was just looking for some more people. Ursula Probst is known in Vienna for being, first of all, the artistic director of FLUCC in Vienna, but she's also a performer, cultural worker, curator, art critic, and was lecturer at the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. I want to introduce from my left Nicole Sabella. She's artist, cultural scientist, and professor for gender and space at the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. Next, Emran Sohal, performer, activist, visual art practitioner, and member of the DAAGI collective. Then Jianan Qu, he is artist, performer, and choreographer. And finally, Pramila Lama, interdisciplinary artist practitioner. So I'm hoping that Ursula will come soon, but since this is a panel on performance, we can engage, the panelists can engage in a performative action and start the whole panel. Thank you.
I was just wondering, since this is such a nice Sunday afternoon and there are not so many people, would you be so kind to come a bit closer so that we could see each other as well? Do you mind, or are you rather feeling comfortable where you are at? Would you like to come a bit closer, or?
Because we can't see you really well from here, and that feels a bit strange.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So that we could see each other, and enjoy this panel together. Yeah. Great, thank you very much. Thank you, very kind, thank you. Yeah. Would you like to say something? Yeah. Actually, it's quite interesting because Ursula, and she's supposed to be the moderator, but she was looking for some friends, and then she went, and then, okay, I think she's coming back. Okay, so I didn't want to be a loud guest and taking over her role, but I also didn't want to leave the stage cold, but she's here. Yeah, Ursula, welcome. We started already. We had the first round of introduction.
Yeah, you already did the first round of introduction. Yeah, so okay, so that's a very warm welcome. Thank you for joining our performance panel. And yeah, I'm very glad to have this round here. Different artists from different parts of the world and different also cultural backgrounds. Yeah, and welcome, Emran, Sohal.
Thank you so much.
And we are having in focus facing counter realities, which is, let's say, a very important topic. And we are here at the art fair. And performance art is, let's say, nowadays we have different genres on performance art. So somebody's calling it behavioral art. In some parts of the world, you call it life art. For example, in China. In China, it is really, is it now possible to call it performance art in China?
Yes, indeed, we have two terms in China for performance art. One is 表演艺术. 表演艺术 is rather referring to the stage context, those kind of performance. And then one is behaving art or life art, that we say 行为艺术, and that's more referring to the fine art context. And I found like the word art of behavior or behaving art, this is very relevant to the context, and the performance art can be part of the behaving art or art of behaviors. Yes, we have these two terms. Yeah. You're right, Ursula.
Yeah, and so yeah, it would be quite interesting, Imran. Yeah, if you can give us a kind of insight, yeah, how it is the ongoing performance art in Bangladesh. As all of us know, the political situation is very instable, and also the role of the performance artist there is also this of an activist. So, and before we will start, so let's see also shortly, Imran, you are an interdisciplinary artist. You are also doing, maybe you already talked about your.
No, not much. Yeah.
Not much, yeah, and it's and you go beyond categorizations. This is also one characteristic, also maybe of artists who are working a lot in performance art, yeah. And you are focused on how time, space, materials, and social behavior shape human emotions, navigating the tensions between nature and human-made environment. So it would be also interesting how you experience Vienna. Since 1 year you are living here in Vienna now. And you are also the founding member of the DAAGI artist group in Bangladesh. So there is also a lot of organization going on in Bangladesh. And at the moment, I know you are permanently on social media. You got a lot of feedback on your announcement of your participation. More than 200 people gave you congratulations to be part of this, to be part here also in Vienna and to share your experiences. Yeah, so it would be nice if you could.
Yeah, thank you so much. The thing is, in Bangladesh, performance started exactly in the 1980s. So during that time, there is a lot of few senior artists. They started like performative act. Actually, that time they adapted it from outside, and then they were trying to find the root actually where performance belong in Bangladesh before start as a form of art, directly performance called. So yeah, that time started. That nowadays, actually, there is lots of pattern is going on. Without any announcement, people love to go to the street and then start anything randomly. Sometimes it's based on some previous thoughts, and then sometimes it's instant improvisation in the public place. And then the thing is, in South Asia, public place is much easier to do some act in any time, but in here, we can't. So after I came here, I was surprised, okay, if I wanted to do something without any announcement in public place, like in Havanov, in Stephen Plus, which is not possible, I think. So, but in South Asia is very, very much easier to do anything in public place for myself. And then I did lots of performance without any announcement, and I sit in middle of the street with a table chair and then like raw meat and sauces and everything. I started randomly act. Then sometimes police came, sometimes there is a lot of crowd. So these type of things is happening in Bangladesh, like as an improvising performance. And then sometimes in gallery space there is also the practice, announced things like planned one. So, but the good thing is, from theater background, they wanted to make it as an experimental theater practice. So in the street also they started that. So in my country, there is a 2-3 type of pattern actually. They wanted to do the performance like that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, so you build up also with your performances and your activism also a kind of counter reality. So also since several years ago, yeah, you are working also a lot in a collective, yeah. So together with Bulbul.
Yeah. So when I started performance, actually it started during my academic period. Then that time, actually I'm from a painting background, and then I completed my academic period in 2013. So after that, I was searching myself, actually, how I can come out through the surface. So then I started that things, and then I believe artists should concern about the society, politics, and everything, and human rights. So my performance is always came through those topics. So like one of the performance which I wanted to mention in 2016, I did collaboration with Sanjit Mahmood, so who is the part of our collective. So we have 7 artists and a collective called DAAGI. DAAGI means convicted. So we wanted to announce ourselves as in convicted. So through our art practice, through our activism, like these type of things. So then in 2016, 6th July, Sanjit and me did one performance, middle of the road, means very, very crowded and space. 2 days before, there was one incident. Incident means there was a killing in the restaurant. So there was 21 foreigner, 20 or 18 foreigner was there, and then some Bangladeshi also was there. Suddenly, extremists, like Islamic extremists and like political things is going on all the time in Bangladesh. So suddenly they went, and then they kill randomly with the arms. So after that 2 days, and then we were feeling, all of we are feeling like actually what is going on. Sometimes people are not freely working, freely, can't say anything, what they wanted to believe actually. So that time, that thing was happened, and after 2 days, Sanjit and me was feeling like we should express our things, what we are feeling. Then we went to the street, and then I ate raw meat with ketchup. And then in the same table, he was peeling potato. So in a sense, these representations of the mental disorder act in the public place, actually, which we don't want to see in the political scenario, in the public space like that. And then at the same time, another person is peeling potato for the satiristic things. So this type of things continuously we try to express through our performative act. So yeah, sometimes we went to the street without any announcement with the ambulance light, and then we walked through the street, so with the siren, with the ambulance light. So these type of things actually we used to do as an activism. So we love to say, like, not the activist artist. So these things, yeah, maybe, yeah, there's an image that.
Yeah, thank you. So we will continue. Also, Pramila Lama. You are originally from Nepal. Now you are based. This is a drawing from Emran. Now you are based in Vienna since 3 years. And yeah, you are, in fact, you already studied in Nepal art, yeah, but you came to Vienna, yeah, also to study at the Academy of Fine Arts, and your practice is very about paying attention to the gender equality and also other issues of equality.
Yes, I'm from Nepal, and before that, what is performance art for me? Before that, how I started doing performance. In Nepal, I think in 1980s, we started doing performance. Some of the group of artists from Bangladesh, they came as a residency artist in Nepal. And they started to doing, they introduced as in like performance art, and they had a residency, and that's how it started. As I know, it started from there. And for me, it's like it's very new art medium for me. And once I know, like in 2014. Artist from Japan, Seiji Shimoda, and he's some of the artists and students came to Nepal, and then at that time they had the presentations about the performance art and like this. So they started the festival kind of in Nepal, and then there we that time I was a student, and then we are curious and what is this and that, and then we started doing like performance and at first, like, we are like, what is this, and what kind of, like, it's drama or it's what, and like, and then we started doing performance, and yeah, that was the, like, first experience was like, you feel shy to, and you feel hesitated to go in front of the mass of people and doing something act, and but yeah, and slowly, like, we started doing like workshop and involving and like this. So then I feel better, and then yeah, and I feel comfort to express myself through performance. And in the performance art scenario of Nepal is like still now, like, we do like announced performance and festival like this. Like, we don't. There are less performance artists who do the like public performance, and yeah, and yeah, especially, and then I do work on gender equalities, because what we saw from our childhood, like, to our mothers, to our neighbors, and it's being always like from my childhood I saw the women dominations and inequality, and on the gender base, like, there is always the discriminations between men and women. So what I saw from my childhood and experience, so I started express through these things, through my performance. And I like to do like performance like semi abstract kind of, that normal viewers can also feel it, like, and have some curiosity on it. So yeah, so that's how I start performance art. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and it is also about, let's say, building counter narratives, yeah? So in the performances, yeah? So when you are doing performance, it's not only self-expression, it's also about how we build narratives in our days.
Yeah, so yeah, like, yeah, and it's performance is like we do some actions on some political situations, like 5 years or 6 years before, there was the rape case happening. It was she was like 11 years old, and she was raped and killed by the upper positions of people, but the government and the police, they didn't do any actions to them because of the power and money and everything. So but we did lots of protests and through performance art, and yeah, but yeah, so we do like this kind of protesting performance in the street, and yeah, we are continuously doing this.
Yeah, and Jianan, yeah, you are a navigator, let's say, also in performance art. Yeah, so you're a choreographer. 1 minute, so I will give you. So this we will show then the video. So yeah, so you were doing dancing, lecture, interventions, yeah, and you were also vice rector for the Bruckner University at Salisbury, and now you will shortly travel to China also for a project. So you're in this kind of transcultural space also, and you are doing a lot of workshops and also teaching, and a special pedagogic on performance art is always in your performative practice, yeah?
Yes, yes. First of all, I'm really thankful for being invited here and having this stage to share some of my thoughts. And then also I'd like to say thank you to the Spark Art Fair. I mean, as we all know, most performance don't sell. Performance has very little to do with money and so on. So this space is being created. I found it's very valuable and it is important. And on one hand, I'm a performance artist. I deal with performance. But on the other hand, I'm very interested in performance in the educational context. Because in my opinion, that today we are living in a performative society. Yeah, if you think about all the social media, if you think like how we create characters online, and actually we are building a performer, and then how we resonate with the people who click likes and who interact with us, you know, this is, we are dealing with the audience. So, but if you think the same case like 30 years ago, if you want to see performance, if we think about performance, we think about a certain location. You look for it. But today, the performance is everywhere. Everybody is having a certain engagement to performance art, no matter if you see this as art or non-art. Yeah, so, and therefore, I think it is important to also look at performance in the educational field, because, you know, we have great educations here in Austria, in Central Europe, and then, you know, the society is rather rich. There's a lot of investment into culture and art and education. But how much does this goes to performance? And is the performance program nowadays that is up to date to the speed of the development of our society? You know, and then is performance still being treated as some kind of a small category of art form, or is there a possibility to be seen as with a broader educational context? Yeah, this is very much my topic, and recently I've been also talking with some leaders of universities, also from Eastern European countries. For example, in Poland, in all art universities, guess how many performance departments or institutions that exist in the whole Poland in art universities? Nothing, zero, not even one. But the performance art being recognized by the art scene since decades. Yeah, since, I mean, I don't even talk about Dada, you know, it's just decades. Yeah, there's not even a performance institute in a university. I don't even talk about department because I know building department is expensive, it's pricey. But at least an institute may also apply for fundings. Zero in Poland, zero. Yeah, but in Vienna, it's kind of a luxury setting. We have two universities, the Academy of Fine Arts. There is a performance class led by Carola Detnik, highly respected, wonderful. And then in the Angewandte, there is APL, Angewandte Performance Laboratorium. At least there's institute. So this is a kind of luxury. But for me, I prefer to not look at it as a luxury setting. I said, this is normal. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And then also, like, sometimes when in an educational context, and then people very much dividing the stage context of performance or the visual art context of performance. And I think, actually, if we talk about performance, maybe we can also talk about performance in the social context, you know? And before we divide in these two little categories, no matter stage, no matter non-stage, white cube, black box, maybe there's a lot of gray area. Yeah, I think this is very much my vision, and this is something that I'm working for, and then I hope there will be more educational places that they will recognize performance in their, or realize the performance program in their studies. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for this contribution. As we know, also in Asia, that in a lot of cities, it's not part of the education program. So I just arrived yesterday, also from India. I'm there at several university colleges to make introduction into performance art, and in fact, doing also with students, but also with other artists, cooperative work. So I will also shortly now show you the video. It's an artist from India, with whom I do also working, Raashish, India. He's a multidisciplinary artist from Rajasthan, India, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia and OCD in his teenage years. Yeah, and since 10 years, since 10 years ago, he decided no more medications, and since then he's doing a lot of performances in different festivals and also workshops and university, and it's a healing tool for mental well-being. This is also, so we have in these cases, I'm also working a lot about this. Yeah, I'm very interested in neurodance, also how you can activate different parts in your brain through performance, through moving the body. And there is really a kind of need to do much more performances also with youngsters. Let's see, so I will shortly, because he cannot be here because of visa issue, this is also a kind of, let's say our society should find a solution for that, because several artists from Southeast Asia, I'm running also an artist in residence program called Body Embedding, and we are still working very intense on that for better conditions also for the visa. So I will show shortly you this introduction from...
Hello, namaste. This is Raashish. I'm from Rajasthan, India. I am a multidisciplinary artist. Mainly from last 8 years, I was first introduced with performance art 8 years ago. Then after some time, I started doing it continuously. Actually, I started art as a healing practice. For me, art is a healing practice. It heals me, it gets me relief, because several years ago, in my teenage, like I was 15 years old, I got schizophrenia, a mental health issue, mental health disorder, and also OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So after that, I involved in art and I get relief. I started drawing and painting. Then I was introduced with performance art, and I like this form of art in which I don't need anything, any material, just body and space and the surrounding. And I do quick, instant practice. And I have performed in many parts of India and abroad too, like Taiwan, Bangladesh, and several parts of India. I have given talks in universities, colleges and schools. Like I have performed in prestigious universities, like in Taiwan, I performed in Art University, National Art University of Taiwan, in Taipei, and also I performed in NID, National Institute of Design, and so many others. I have performed and talks about mental health through art. How can you make balance?
Yeah, so please, let's talk about the practice, yeah? While you're doing the performance, you really also work with the situations. You don't prepare a special concept before. It depends also on the situations. It depends also on the environment. It depends on the others who are also joining the performance.
Yeah, mainly my performances are like this. Whenever I go in a festival, I don't prepare that much. I don't have that much prepared for any concept or something. Sometimes I do work on that, but mainly I do instant. It depends on what is going through, and it depends on my emotion. Like last year in Taiwan, yeah, we went to in a jungle, and I found some shells, and I collected them. I thought they are dyed shells. There is no animal inside them. And then when I back to hotel and I put them in a table, and then after I saw that they were running. Some were running and some were dying. So then I took them again in the morning to their place who were alive, and so that idea comes. That day I had performance in the river side, so I got the idea to perform Take Me Home, as I was there also, and for me I was missing my home also, so I performed with those shells in the river. Take me home alive. It was like that. So it comes instantly that what I'm going to do, and I just started.
You're also still studying art, you're looking at other performance artists.
Actually, for me, studying is not like I'm a self-taught artist. I never went to an art school, and because I was not in that condition to go to art school, or that time the situation was not in control. I was on medication also that time. I was going through that phase. And also, personally, I don't want to go also to art school, because for me learning, I like to learn from others, from nature, by myself. So self-learning, I choose what I want to learn, what I don't like. So I have freedom to choose. So I learn like this thing. So I live in a dreamy life also. But in a performance, I mix that, you know, that dreams with the reality, and I do performance. I make the performance.
For example, in Deandu,
Dehradun, you mean?
Deandu, you did a performance with a balloon.
Yeah, it was very intense performance. I had done so many intense performances also, because that pain I hold in me was in those performances. I expressed that pain. So those performances becomes very intense. Like in that balloon performance I did in Dehradun, you were also there. Yeah, so it was like I started slapping myself very tough. Like everyone who was sitting there was in shock. Like I was red completely. So, and then after I continue blow that bigger balloon. It was very big, and then it blast. So it's like I, my pain, I bear that much continuously I was bearing, and one day it blast. So you can't hold that pain. One day it will blast. So you have to be positive. One day that pain, you can't hold that much in yourself. One day will come that it will blast. So you have to be positive for that. When I do performance, I fully, mentally, I fully involved in that. I feel that emotion. Emotionally, I am well, connected with that when I'm doing a performance.
And you never repeat a performance.
I never repeat performance. I always do something new, experimental. I don't have a fear to do experiments. Yeah, in art, we should do experiment, and I always like to do experiment. I don't care if it goes wrong but I always like to do something new.
Yeah, thank you for paying attention on the video. So, Nicole. So before we discussed also the pedagogic and also teaching on performance art. Now we already.
Hello, namaste.
Sorry.
This
It's
is
on a kind
Raashish.
of
I'm from Rajasthan.
auto remote. Okay, let's go back to the PDF. You are a professor at the Academy of Fine Arts for Space and Gender, and you are very, very active with your students. Yeah, it's really amazing. At the moment, you are doing also at the Bruno a project in urban space. But let's talk about your own performance practice. It's very intersectional. You did also a lot of research on that. I, in fact, learn a lot from you in your practice. And yeah, you are also part of our program Body Embedding, which also means that your experiences, the experiences of the environment, and also the knowledge is very connected with the body. Yeah? At the same time, you have enormous knowledge, theoretical knowledge also. So please give us also an insight into your practice from your point of view.
Yes, sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here on this sunny afternoon. My name is Nicole, and yes, just recently I was appointed Professor for Gender and Space at the Academy of Fine Art together with my friend and colleague Petra Hlavačková. I also studied there in the class for performative arts, but I would also like to come back to some things that have been said before. For me, performance and performance art is always political, but it's also highly contextual. So we have heard a little bit about your contexts. I mean, in some countries you might get imprisoned once you only show your body in public, or I mean, we're talking here also about a strong gender perspective, for example. So I'm thinking Iran. If you're displaying yourself, your body in public space without a headscarf, you will be imprisoned. You are not allowed to sing publicly, for example. So I think, performance and the body, especially in public space, is always political because it's read through different social categories immediately. So gender, race, ability, class, and so on and so forth. And yes, and that is what also interests me in performance. Like, I certainly have a feminist approach to it. And it's also, talking about the Academy of Fine Arts or education around performance. This was the setup, the feminist traditions of performance art, especially since the 60s. Like a kind of revival of performance art as an anti-institutional practice, going out of the institutions into the streets, and also claiming, for example, the feminized body and taking up space. So performance to me is always related to space. It's a spatial practice, although it doesn't always have to be done by a body in a staged environment, you know. So my approach is always performative because it's embodied. Thank you for that. So even if I maybe show objects, how I get to a certain, maybe also artistic constellation, always starts from my body in relation to space, I have to say, yes. And for me, performance is always about movement. It can be internal, it can be thoughts, or really moving your body. The somatic level of it, for me, is very important. Performance is, for me, transgressive, also transformative, and healing. And I think this is something that a lot of years, I would say, if you would have claimed that it would have been a problem, yeah, saying art isn't therapy, art isn't supposed to be therapy. Yeah, maybe you want to do art therapy, you know, but then it's not real art. And luckily now also through maybe indigenous practices of performance that are now also invited more in, also into official institutionalized spaces. I think we are able also to claim the healing aspect of it again, because, and that's maybe now, for now, a last sentence. In my practice, I'm mostly interested in collaboration, in collective practices, and also in interactive and participatory exchange with with other people. So I don't like the term audience that much, because for me it's more really about getting into contact and communication. And that's why I call performance art also vibrational art, because I think it's about energy and energy exchange, and about a vibration that you share, that you also create together. This is also why sound is a very important part of my practice. And it's able to connect people across differences. And I don't mean this in a romanticizing way, but also through its confrontation, its power to confront, you know. It somehow creates, it creates, sometimes even forces communication upon us, and that I find still a very strong asset of performance art.
Yes, thank you, Nicole. Yeah, so it's quite interesting how it is also changing, let's say, the healing aspect, yeah. When we are talking nowadays about art and therapy, it has no more this kind of taste like it had several years ago, where everybody was a kind of smiling in the art world, yeah. And in fact now also because of body embedding, yeah, to be aware of the situation here, we are in an art fair, yeah, and it's quite like that over there, everybody's busy with doing also some deals on art. And here we are talking about performance art, which is nowadays has also, let's say, the impact. Artificial intelligence is more and more, let's say, on making a lot of main decisions, yeah, in our life, yeah. And there is luckily also in the art world really great projects going on, like from Jean Müller recently at the Brut Justitia, to thinking about and also to create awareness on that, yeah. And so our awareness of the body is also becoming more and more important also, yeah. How we, let's say, also find a position in our world, yeah. And so why there are also a lot of community engaged projects are going on in which artists are involved, yeah. As you mentioned before, you don't want to use audience. In fact, it's about community building, yeah. The audience also is now more and more also part of a community, also when it's just a temporary community, yeah, in case of interactions, yeah. And from you, for example, Emran, yeah, so there are also in Bangladesh several artists working on that. Also transsectional, yeah, you are also very in that topic, not only we humans, as we know, it's in the art world, we discuss it a lot in the context also of climate care and other issues, yeah, that with other entities, with plants, there are several artists doing also performance in which, in fact, the plant or a fruit or a vegetable is the performer, yeah, by using...
Or the caterpillar.
Yeah, for example, yeah, it was a very, maybe you, shortly, we have no images at the moment, but everybody knows a caterpillar, and you did also a great performance at the Miss Balthasar space, yeah, here in Vienna. Please visit the space also, it's really amazing, but so that everybody became a caterpillar also, yeah, so, and that to become this kind of, also embodiment of being an animal, or, yeah.
In that case, it was actually because caterpillars actually communicate through vibrations. You know, it's just that the frequencies they produce are not audible to the human ear in a way. But yeah, that was something that I was interested in because it's the very image of, you know, vibrational communication. And I was really interested in how to turn it into this kind of interspecies communication, while not being able to really leave my humanness in a way.
Yeah, it was also a lot of fun.
How to learn also from that, you know.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. In fact, also in this kind of, let's say, community projects, fun is also an important aspect, also as a healing, in the healing process. As we know, also telling a joke means also to make a turn of reality. Yeah, Emran, yeah, so luckily we can talk also in Bangladesh art scene. Yeah, there are also a lot of community projects going on there.
Yeah. As I understand, Bangladesh is very happening and then vibrating. So yeah, last 10 years, yeah, it's a very vibrating happening over there. So through performance, through foundation, collectives, and then randomly protest. So there is a lots of things is happening in Bangladesh right now. So right now the political situation is very bad, and then you know, one of the performance artists, Sajan Rana. So he is actually, I don't want to mention that name, actually just only for you know, that's why. Actually he is getting threat from the extremist, no? So actually he wanted to raise her voice. So what is going on actually? So we need freedom of speech. Our government 7 months before governments fall down. So and then she went to India, and then right now is caretaker government taking part. So everything is going on through activism, through performative approach, through exhibition. Also lots of things is happening, but so all of them are actually feeling scared. So during last 1 year I'm here. So before that I was that much involved with the street, no, with the activism, like environmental activism was happening. Right now one protest is going on because government is planning to build one highway. And then there is a lots of trees and it's a very beautiful park. So they wanted to destroy that to make that highway road, and like this type of urbanization is happening. So some of performance artists is continuously, last 90 days, they are staying over there, they're sleeping over there, they're making their, they're shouting to protest, no? So that is happening also parallelly. So yeah, in Bangladesh there is a lots of foundation collective, like my collective. So we are 7 artists. So we are from the different backgrounds, like sculpture, painting, photography, and then then we try to raise our voice through some activity. So lots of things is happening right now in Bangladesh. So all I wanted to say is performativity you can find in all the groups and foundations, and then yeah.
And you have also different performance festivals, and there is also a great Greg art camp there, where international artists are spending 7 days, 24 hours together. So there are several initiatives.
This is the only one for residency is happening last 10 years or 15 years, yeah. So continuously they are doing in same place. In Kustia, where he went there, and then maybe Pramila Lama also went there. So yeah, that place is, this thing is very important to do continue in same place. So usually foundation or a group of artists, what they do, they went someplace, they work with the community for once a year, like for 7 days only, and then they came back, and then they are not going again and again to see the situation over there, then what they face and this type of things. So only when these crack international art residency is happening, continuously same place.
Yeah, so Pramila.
Because I have been already in this crack residency in Bangladesh, and then as my experience is, I really like this is like not for the artist community, it's for the public, the villagers surrounding this area. So this is the very interesting things for me, that this place became a very artistic place, that every villagers and every peoples of that place, they knows about what is performance art, what is installations, what is paintings, what is this. So I think this is the good point, good things.
Yeah, there's really a very big interest there on artistic work. Yeah, so everybody's curious and is coming and joining. So yeah, Jianan. Yeah. So from your point of view, so the social engagement of art.
In China.
Yeah, for example,
in Chinese
about
context. I mean, first of all. When I think about performance in China, I think about public space. And the reason I think about public space is there are rarely performance happening in public space. Also, it's called public space. The space is never public. It's being dominated either by political power or capital. You know, you see a big advertisement, Huawei, Samsung, Apple, whatever. And then also because of public space is being seen as a perfect stage for propaganda or information transmitting. I don't know which term is better in this way. And then so if you do anything in public space, it can be seen very political, and therefore you will be, or you might be receiving a big amount of pressure. Yeah. So I feel like performance don't really exist in public space in China, because whenever I think about performance, or if I think about the history of performance in a visual art context, actually I don't think about white cube. I very much think about public space, and this is kind of a strange, first. And then secondly, there are great performance artists that are engaged with social engaged topics, and then working on a quite like a large scale of discussion, performative discussion, and talking about different things. But they all been dealing with a lot of pressure. And but that also trains a certain skill, which I found very interesting, is that I'm an artist, I want to discuss certain topic in public space, but I'm also dealing with enormous amounts of pressure. How do I do this? And for me, like how to navigate a artistic narrative, and in a performative way. And I found this is also very beautiful. It is a beautiful training. It's also beautiful practice, like how artists use their wisdom to deal with all the existing factors and pressures. Some are good, some are bad. And sometimes because it's bad, that's why it's good. You can turn always disadvantage to advantage. And I found like so many beautiful thoughts and beautiful ideas because of pressure, because things are not easy, and exactly because of the same reason, that's why things are happening for good meaning. Yeah, so this is something that I'm very interested in, because sometimes, I mostly live here in Vienna, and I don't receive too much political pressure here,
And I maybe add to that, because we haven't talked about the Viennese context. So I was saying that performance to me is always political, but also contextual. And I think in Vienna, performance art is rather conceptual. I think there is a strong conceptual tradition, let's say, to it, and there's no contemporary. And as you said, for example, it seems that we have all freedom here or liberty, but it's also highly regulated, considering also public space. So I think a lot of performances still take place in institutional spaces, be it museum, galleries, then of course like the performing arts, like in theaters and in the crossovers, and in artist-run spaces. And of course there's also like art in public space happening, but you have to deal always like with having to ask if you're allowed to do it in a way, and we are also used to asking, you know. So we have adapted to that, and I'm thinking about Praterstern, because you are also part of FLUCC, and they redid the whole area, and then they kind of assigned a certain place in front of the station, you know, which you can apply for example, do a performance, or there could be a market happening there, yeah, but also the performance art, so always the strong will to regulate everything and to assign certain spaces in public space for something like performance art, that it can happen in a very safe and very controllable environment. And I think that this is really something that then affects you as an artist, you know. Also, maybe another story. So I was invited to a little gathering of different queer feminist sound artists who are all very engaged in community building, and then they were saying, hey, let's try to solidarize across countries, even in Europe, you know, around feminist issues, because somehow it seems so particular. And we were sitting there and then talking about what can we do, and and then I was saying, I don't know, I'm so exhausted, I'm so precarized, what about money, you know? And then a person from Spain who had just arrived in Vienna was saying, that's so interesting. I'm here for three weeks, and all I ever hear is, yeah, let's do something. Yeah, wait, but let's apply for it, and then maybe in half a year or in 8 months, when we know if we will get the money, we can do it, you know? And then they were saying, I mean, in Spain, you have a day job, you know? And then you do your activist and art and whatever, and club culture and everything is happening, of course, voluntarily in the night after your day job, you know. But you are very quick in reacting also to political situations, you know, or to what's going on, and to solidarize and so on and so forth. So I think that's maybe something to point out when we are talking about the different situation and context of how to do performance art.
Yeah, that's a very important question. Yeah, if you want to join us in our discussion, for sure, there's every time you can. Also some questions, and yeah, as you said here, because really Vienna is very special, and also maybe in German there's also the situation, but I think in Vienna it's much more better for performance artists to do performances. There are several institutions. We have also the Kunstraum Niederösterreich, they have a performance prize, we have the departments, and still also at the University of Applied Art, they're also expanding the performance training there, bringing also different trans and interdisciplines into it. But the question is really that, for sure, we have also a strong, let's say, it becomes stronger fair pay for artists, and it comes also out of the discussion, because we have the Department of Performance Art, and several of the artists, they also continue to doing PhD on several, pointing out also several issues, how performance makes also this kind of transformation into an object that you can sell it at several artists already worked on that, which kind of objects you can sell in the gallery. And there was or is still also one gallery who is also like Michaela Stockinger. She's also working with performance artists doing exhibitions on that. And for sure, it's always the urgency. Yeah, maybe it would be important to to come also do a project with the Roma community, which is also quite interesting. Yeah, this kind of and in here in Vienna, for example, there are artists who are still involved in these urgencies for queer issues or against discrimination, or a lot of artists. We have really several communities here in Vienna. Now we have, for example, May Link, which is an artist collective who is originally coming from Japan and Philippines. We have also a strong Brazilian community, Marisa Lobos. She's doing a great job always with artists, with performance artists. We have very strong Mexican artists here in like Guadalupe. Yeah, also she's doing festivals also on healing practices. So there are several initiatives going on. Yeah, at the same time, because also let's say that's why also counter realities to build their own environment, their own realities also for visibility, because as we experience here now also, that sometimes the art world is not so interested in that, to become, let's say, to get in contact with other practices which are abroad from the, let's say, Europe-centric context and US context, also still in the collections. Yeah, there is a lot of focus on that. Yesterday there was also the panel, and I heard now that there was also the discussion about it, that the museums, that the Museum of Mumok is, their collection is mainly on male art, on white male artists. Yeah, it would need really a long of time to bring this kind of we always call it diversity into it, yeah. And so that's why there is a lot of engagement from here in Vienna, still also different initiatives, yeah. But to come out of the comfort zone, for sure, is also always also for artists who are based in Vienna and educated in Vienna. For example, I had also an important discussion with an artist recently at Daily about social design, yeah. What is really the topic? Is it about community building, or is it doing also some objects in public space? Yeah, so this kind is really here, and you did a great job with the Roma project about community building, but it was also a lot to dive into it. Yeah, also about languages. You translated your concept and also the practice in how many different languages? So it is, and you.
I mean, talking about participatory art in regard to performance, which is part of my practice, I think it's always, languages and not to centralize one language. Like in Austria, it's German mostly, of course. But if you work with other people and you want to open up and hold space for different people to meet and engage and exchange, then of course you can reach people and get people into contact with one another if you invite all the languages they speak in. So you're referring to the Shift project we did for Sagen Verlernen in Macondo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of course it's also about who's represented then on the side of artists. Maybe our team was Flinter persons from with different also native languages. It was very important that also in the team who was kind of organizing the project, there would be some representation also culturally and also language-wise of the people that we would open up a space for. So, of course, we had Somali language, we had Farsi, we had Arabic, Czech, because my other native language is Czech, and several other languages. We couldn't cater to all of them, but just to make the point that in Vienna still multilinguality is still not seen as as on a political level as the norm, you know, so German is still like the most important language, and as we know, because now we have the debate, you know, about, how do you say, that Familiennachzug will be forbidden because in classes now the issue is that there are more people whose first language is not German, and then how to integrate them and so on and so forth, while we'll still know that each person will learn a new language also in the country they came to, maybe better when they're also educated in their native languages, or if they're invited in, you know, the languages that they speak, and this is still not no, it is a reality in the personal lives of people, but not, let's say, on the structural political level. And I think we won't solve the issues that are now raised and are dealt with in a very racist and discriminatory way. Let's say, if we don't change the political structures to meet the reality we are already living, I would say.
Yeah, so in fact also, change the structure. This is a very important keyword. Recently I also joined several meetings also in Delhi with different groups, and in this kind of changing the structure is also always very important. Know that how do you navigate also? Navigator is, for example, also one, that's no more the using artist or curator in your self-definition. It's more that you use a navigator also. Yeah, and also that you tell, or the personal storytelling is still a very important issue as a kind of counter narratives, and how you use also for these performative techniques, the mix of also using photographs, making installation out of that. And maybe we come now to the last round, or so it would be nice if each of you can give in 1 or 2 sentences statement, a kind of statement.
So one of the important thing from my practice, so I'm not thinking about the documentation, so which I have till now. I just went to do performance, and then, but the people are giving me, people are clicking randomly through mobile, through camera, like that, because I don't want to make myself conscious for the camera, for the device, because I love to do spontaneous things with some context, which I don't want to plan previously. So for my practice is very important actually. I wanted to focus on those things to not concentrate on the camera or something. So if somebody is doing, okay, for me it's no problem, because when some of my friends discuss with me, okay, you are going to do some performance, I'm going to do some performance over there, and then that day and then that time. So just only sharing with my collective, then they feel like, okay, so rest of the thing is for them. So for my work like that, I collect my documents. So, but sometimes it's very important, as you mentioned, the documentations, no? So performance art. So now I'm thinking about how I can deal with that approach, so which I don't used to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, and for you, Jianan? Your statement can be also not about
no,
documentation.
I can keep it very short.
On,
I can keep it short. I think performance is for everybody. Because sometimes when we think about performance, it's like, oh, I don't have the skill, I don't have the technique, I had never learned this. But actually, if you think about everyday life, and I think we are great performers and we are great interpreters. And on the performance, if you meet me 20 seconds today, this morning, on the way buying, I don't know, croissant, and you say, okay, look at this guy, he's stressed, but he's in a good mood. At the same time, maybe he's hungry or he's onto something and he has to go. You know, in 20 seconds, you analyze 3 layers of information. this is an expert. Can you imagine yourself and going to a museum and looking at, I don't know, a Van Gogh or any, then you say, I look at this and I immediately understand Van Gogh here, he's confused, he's this and this, and then look the color composition. This, if you're able to analyze 3 layers of information in front of Van Gogh, then you say, wow, this is an expert. So in a way, we are experts, so let's do performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me is art, any kind of art medium should be open for the public, not only especially for the art community and art circle who knows about the art, because I think this, yeah.
Nicole?
I think for me, performance is about space. So I want to politicize space in the sense of give us affordable spaces in Austria to work at. Because we can perform maybe at institutions, and if we get enough money, we can maybe pay for all this very expensive studio spaces. But I think it's really highly political to provide artists with affordable spaces where they can meet, exchange, and create without the pressure, let's say, I don't know. For example, I'm now building a community studio house in the 4th district, and 2 weeks ago we hosted a group of feminists from different Latin American countries, and they created like the safest space for one another. I became part of it, where we were doing performances also for one another, doing workshops, doing concerts. And then we took on 8th of March to the street in the big demonstration, and used also our performative practices that we also taught to others or shared with others, to make this demonstration, great and engaging. And I loved it a lot, I have to say. So we need these spaces as spaces for solidarizing and to exchange, and also to work on our practices in a way, and then we can take to the street, and change also things on a political level. And I find this very powerful and empowering.
So, and as a, let's say, finally, we do also a small performance together. Also when so, in fact, this material I collected in Delhi and in India, and it's used to make construction bamboos when you are building a house and you always using this kind of fixing the bamboo, and already we used it. It was already a football when we were at the art fair. We did a performance there, playing football in the art fair. So, but now it's more easier to make it. I just will draw it to you, and you then draw it to the others, and we spin a little net. Let's. And then it comes back. Come over there. I have to take it also. Kind of, and then we come back. Or maybe you want to go also into the
we can spread.
So just to make a kind of net together. Wherever you want. But please hold one part also, that it becomes a kind of net. Shortly, we do it very fast. So like a structure becomes also visible in space. And it's also this kind of connecting in a way. And maybe we will go then outside and playing football in the fair. So to creating always also awareness, so on it. So, and this is really, and in fact, it's dangerous also, that too much power into it. So this kind, and in fact, we collected it. It's we love to upcycling material, and so I did it also at the university or at the college. So there was already a different building nets are happened. Oh yeah, and now it comes back to me. So, and or I will make a photo because I'm also the documentary of it. Yeah, so just give me a minute. I make a short photo and then